Welcome to another healing conversation. I'm here with Jayne Mason, all the way from Australia, here at the S.T.A.R Clinic in Santa Fe. Hi, Jayne.
Hello, how are you?
Good. I was hoping you could tell everyone who's not able to make it here at the S.T.A.R Clinic the exercise that you just did, why it's important for us to go through that, and what we can expect from it.
Okay. Basically, when you acknowledge what you love to do, you're acknowledging your creator self. You put forth that energy to flow into it, to have fun, to co-create with everyone on the earth plane, and to just sit down and to be one-on-one or even in a group and just talk about what it is you absolutely love to do. It just taps you back into that divine energy, and that's where you do know yourself as divine. Absolutely. And all of your memories are in sync and they're all harmonized, and you just go back in. It's all there. It's like going from one memory container to another. You've got everything good stored in one, and then because of the process of separation, we sort of separated things into good and bad. So when you go back into all the good stuff and all the fun stuff and all the happy stuff, that's your direct route back out to the serene, back out to the creator energy. So instead of flipping backwards and forwards, you might as well just go infinite to positive, rather than positive, negative, which is what people sort of get lost in, that cycle while they're trying to sort through their memories and what's important to them, and be in harmony with everyone else's story.
Simple, just to be in pure joy. And Rumi said it as well.
You know, that's one of the things that really touched my heart a few years back, was just acknowledging that, you know, I am here to just love people and to enjoy being in communication. And when I'm doing that, I'm honouring my divine purpose. It doesn't really get any bigger than that. You know, how I sort of put my own little spin on it, that's up to me. And how everyone else puts their spin on it, that's up to them. But just to be in that energy, just to acknowledge you're an infinite presence. And thank you for being here, because we couldn't co-create the world without you. It's pretty much the truth, and that's the way it is.
How did you start to become awakened and follow this passion and trust?
Yeah, the trust, you know, I can remember when I was 4, my mother had sent me to my room. So I had to go there, and I wasn't allowed to come out until I could behave myself. And I pulled the mattress off the bed, threw it on the floor, sat there and looked straight up and said, okay, what am I doing in this family? Can you remind me again? How come I didn't go to a family down the street? I've been very aware that that communication process happens and that I am here for a reason. And there were a few tough times where you do have to trust that you are here, and you just really have to be centered. And, you know, like everybody goes through the ups and downs through their teenage years. And but you get through it. You get through it because you've got good friends, or you've got family that supports you, or you can just tap back into the divine and remember. You know, sometimes that's when you remember the best, is when there's no one else around. They've all deserted you. They think you're not really from this planet. And then the only person you can be present with is yourself. And then the truth flows forth. There's no one arguing with you.
And so here we are in 2012, and there is a great grand cycle within a grand cycle, not just a 26,000 year, but even a 360 million year. So what does that mean?
They're cosmic cycles. You know, I've just spoken about exponential growth. By being in communication, one person plus one person creates this exponential energy, and the growth and the ability for it to exchange and to be able to be passed on to another. So then you go off and you speak to another friend, and then it grows again, and the energy and the cycles just keep flowing forth. So those cycles go through, the wisdom comes out the other side. We go through the cycle, and then we've got all this new wisdom that we can flow forth. And so that's why we become, well, people like to use the word evolution, and other people like to use the word creation. For me, they both go together, just like your DNA and your RNA. You don't separate them. They work in cosmic harmony. And, you know, it's just those cycles. And depending on how present you are, depends on, is, you know, sort of the outcome is how much you can acknowledge and how many of those cycles you can acknowledge, and how many you've put to rest. They're complete. And when you have incomplete communication cycles, that's when you have a lot of, past life issues and things like that, where you feel that you haven't said something or something hasn't been created that was set forth to be created. So people have, this year, a lot of people have been going back and tidying up things and letting go of things and allowing that new love wisdom to flow forth.
And so you would say then that anything that takes us out of that moment of joy and bliss would be something we need to take a look at and release and heal. And so it sounds simple, but maybe not so simple.
Well, if you're in a life cycle where the story is more important than the truth, then you can have some problems. Yeah. Or you have had a previous cycle where that was the case, and that's flowed forth because the memory has come forward, and that was your lesson to learn with discernment, that there are some things that do not need to be pushed or forced into being, that if it's a natural occurring cycle and everybody's supporting you, it's going to occur. But if you're cutting yourself off from source and pretending that it doesn't exist, well, then you're going to come into hardship and problems.
Now, you are from Australia, and you are a coach, and how did you come to meet Nina?
I met Nina, I was reading James Tiburon's work, the Metatron channels, which I absolutely love and I've been reading for a few years. And I work in the angelic frequencies. I went from coaching elite sports athletes to just working in that angelic field, because I knew that's ultimately what I was doing anyway with all those kids and adults. I was saying to them, if you've got 2 arms and 2 legs, don't give me any excuses, you can do it. And we really acknowledged the infinite potential that we had. Whether we were an athlete or a creator of something, it didn't matter, because really the game's matrix is a creation that we all created anyway. And so if there's things in the game matrix that need to be sorted out, what better way to do it than to have a coach who can actually acknowledge your infinite presence and your ability to create anything, rather than just you as a player or someone in a game.
Well, thank you. We can create anything. Jayne Mason, thank you, here in Santa Fe.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.